Hi, and welcome to my little M8 tutorial. Now this tutorial is not aimed at thoroughly exploring every feature of the M8. One major point of critique that this magical little box receives is that it's cryptic and complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Instead, the goal of this little series is to get you playing as quickly as possible. Once we get the first noises going, we'll start to go into more depth and learn what's what on this crazy machine. Okay, so you have your hands on the M8 or your headless setup for the first time. This is what you'll see when you load up. Beautiful emptiness. See this little highlighted area? That's you. Use your arrow keys to move around, just like in one of them Pocket Monster games. Now let's start doing things. General rule: whenever you want to interact with anything you have highlighted, press Edit. It's like the A button on your Game Boy. Bam! Congratulations, you just placed your first chain. Imagine a chain like a container. Now we want to enter this container. Make sure the chain is highlighted, hold Shift and press Right. Congratulations, you can now navigate the M8's interface. With this little mini-map down here, you can see where you currently are and where you can go. Now, make sure you don't accidentally enter live mode by going left from the song screen. If that happens to you, just navigate left again to exit it, and don't worry about it for now. We'll get into this a bit later. Now, back to our chain. Pretty empty here. Let's press Edit again. Congrats! You just placed your first phrase. Let's enter it by pressing Shift and Right again. More emptiness. Where are the noises? Let's keep pressing Edit. Now, believe it or not, but you just placed a note. But there's no instrument that could play this note just yet. So let's do Shift and Right one more time. Nice. Welcome to the instrument screen. From here, we can load a sample. Navigate your cursor over the spot where it says Load and press Edit to confirm. Now this will bring you to the sample browser. You'll probably be somewhere else than I am. This is really just a folder structure. If you scroll all the way up, you can find this little icon to exit the folder you're currently in. And when you're at the very top, your directory should look something like this. It might be a bit different because I couldn't be bothered to reset my SD card to factory settings. But anyway, you should have a samples folder that you can navigate into using Edit. And from there should be a packs folder, which is a layer that I've removed. And within the packs folder, you should find the electronic sound samples that come with the M8. Now, let's choose a sample from here. Keep pressing Edit to confirm your selection. And let's just take the first sound we can find and hit Edit again to confirm. Congrats! You just made your first instrument. Let's press play and see what happens. It's a noise! Now, let's navigate over to the phrase and see what's actually going down. See this little cursor scrolling down? This is our playhead, and whenever it hits this note, yeah, we're hearing the kick we just chose. I don't like the sound, so let's go back to the instrument screen, Shift and Right, hit Load again, and find another kick that we like better. Now, if you have one of these highlighted, you can just press play to audition them, or just hold play and scroll through them. I think I like this one. I'll press Edit again to confirm, and if we now press play, we hear the new kick we chose. Let's navigate back to the phrase screen using Shift and Left, and place a couple more notes. Awesome. Let's get some more samples. To do that, we need to find a new instrument that we can assign a new sample to. Now, to change values on the M8, it's always the same procedure. You're gonna want to hold down Edit and then use the arrow keys to change either the second digit of the number using the left and right arrow keys, or the first digit by using up and down. You can change any value this way. You can go up notes by octaves or semitones, or you can change the volume of a note in the volume column over here. change this instrument number. See? At 0, that's where our kick lives. So the first empty one, where it says none in the help text down below, this is where we can load another sample. So let's go back to the instrument screen, make sure we are on instrument number 1, which is empty right now, and hit load again. Let's exit the kick directory and instead find a clap. I'm gonna hold down play again and scroll through the claps to audition. I think 13 will just do fine. Let's hit edit again. This, by the way, is the sampler, and we're gonna keep ignoring it for now, as well as all these interesting little windows that just popped up in the meantime. We'll get to it. Promise. Okay, let's place some more notes. Whoops. Now, I hit edit on the kick, and when I wanted to place a new note, it defaulted back to the instrument that I was just editing. So just to change that, let's hit the instrument number again and change it from kick to clap. Notice the help text at the bottom to help you. We can also change notes we've already placed, right? All right, let's load one more. Find an empty instrument, navigate over to the instrument screen, and load. I want to choose a percussion sound. Sure, 13 will do. Okay, now this is becoming a little messy, so let's clean this up a little bit. What do we do to delete notes? We place them by pressing edit, so we sort of need to unedit, which we do by holding down Option and pressing edit again. And it's gone! Okay, let's keep working on this little groove. I think I want my clap to hit the backbeat right here. This percussion is a bit too busy right there. And maybe we don't need both. I don't think we need both claps here. And let's change this to percussion as well. Maybe. Okay. By the way, this is the volume column. You can also adjust the volume of the samples right here. Congratulations! You just made your first groove. So let's recap. You've learned how to navigate on the screen, how to navigate between the screens. You've learned how to load a sample. You've learned how to place and erase notes, and you made a little groove. So feel free to keep working on this a little bit until you feel comfortable with these techniques I've just shown you, and then we can learn how to build on this using multiple phrases and chains. So, how do we expand the groove we made in part 1? Navigate back to the chain screen. Here you can see the name or number of the phrase we've just been working on. Choose the next empty step and press edit. When you press play, you'll see the play marker move between the two. If you add the same phrase a couple more times, the chain will become longer as all adjacent phrases are playing one after the other. Now, all of these phrases are just instances of the same phrase, phrase 0. Any changes you make to phrase 0, any of these, will be reflected in all of the instances. So, let's make a new phrase. Change the number of one of these to 1 using edit and the arrow key. Now, you just made a new empty phrase. Highlight it and then navigate back to the phrase screen. You can build a new groove here. Place notes using edit and change the instrument number using edit and the arrow keys to access the instrument you've created so far. So that's the kick drum, which we want at full volume. The default is 64, by the way, don't ask why. So let's just keep going with this so far and get ourselves a clap on the backbeat and offbeat percussion. Now, if you press play as I just did, you only hear this phrase we've just been working on. But if we now go back to the chain screen and press play here, you'll hear our old phrase and the variation. And just like with instrument numbers, once you've made a phrase, it's always available to you. You just need to place the right number wherever you like it. By the way, when working on a phrase, you can keep track of your position in the chain by paying attention to this little marker on the left. Now this chain 0, has 4 phrases in it. Now zoom out to the song screen. And you might have guessed it, chains work in much the same way that phrases do. If I place another one here and let it play all the way through, you'll see that it hops to the next instance of the chain. There you go. Now let's make a new chain by using Edit and the arrow keys again. And right over here, we still have the same phrases we've used in the old one. Now we can switch around the order or place new phrases altogether. Perfect. Now let's zoom all the way out back to the song screen again. As you can see, we have so far only used one of these 8 columns, which we call tracks. Now let's make a new chain on track 2. Navigate into it, make a new phrase. And let's make a new instrument. I'm going to choose a synth sample this time. Right, I'm going to choose this one to demonstrate one thing. Let's get to full volume again. Now, what you'll find is that this sample plays all the way through unless interrupted by another note. So to tighten things up, we can use the note off command. So we want to tell this instrument to stop playing without triggering a new note. How do we do this? Now, we place notes by pressing Edit. So to unedit, so to speak, we press Option and Edit. Now let's do this on an empty step. So erasing an empty step gives us the off command. Let's make a bass line here. I think I want to move these around to over here. Funky. Let's zoom all the way back out to the song screen and press play. Now what you'll notice is that the playhead moves independently in between these. This becomes even more apparent if you place this chain twice. So, one very important thing, make sure all your chains have the same length. This one and this one are both 4 phrases long. So we're going to use 4 phrases for this one as well. And now everything moves together in sync. This can be actually very useful, but we're not going to get into this just yet. Just know, let's say you want your bass line to start later on. If we hit play now, none of these tracks will start playing because they're empty, and this playhead will move forward, but this won't be triggered unless we put down a placeholder chain. Best practice here is just use the highest chain number, which is FE. Yes, you might have noticed we're working in hexadecimal. Don't be intimidated by it, it's just numbers, but more of them. So we're just going to place 4 empty phrases here. Just call them FE and stick to that with all your projects, so you always know which ones are your empty placeholder phrases. And if I press play now, track 2 will start playing but not trigger any instruments because all the phrases are empty. And then over here on song row 1, the bass will come in. Sweet. Now, here's one last tip on the way out. When you're working on a phrase, having to switch back to the song mode all the time to hear your changes in context can be a bit of a hassle. So instead of pressing play from the phrase and only hearing the phrase you're working on, you can hold Shift and press play and hear the entire song from your current position and audition changes in real time. Now there are a couple very useful shortcuts that streamline this whole process, but I want to take it one step at a time and keep things as simple as possible for now. So just load some samples and have fun with it. We'll get into the rest later.